to attempt to do a fret level on this before everything goes back and the strings go back on. I'm just checking the straightness of the neck, and I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, but there just seems to be a slight back bow on it at the moment. You can just possibly see some light shining through. Just on this, on the top end towards the headstock. You probably just catch that on the camera. The rest doesn't seem too bad, so I'm just gonna try and take that bit of back bow out and get it as straight as I can. Awkward doing this with one hand, but just give it a slight turn and then recheck it. So possibly a little bit on this top end, and if it's not rocking as such, so it's not a million miles out, but still see some light coming through in this top section. So I'll just tweak it a little bit more. Not 100% sure if I'm going the right way there. Try that again now. Again, very minimal. I think it's better than it was. I'll just give that one more little tiny tweak. I'm not exactly sure how accurate this gauge is because it was an inexpensive set that I purchased, so I'll just check it visually down the looking down the neck just to see might be a very little bit of a bow in it now. One side looks a bit better than the other, a bit straighter possibly. I'm holding the headstock as well, so that'll probably be causing a little bit. So I think that's okay for me to work with. There must be hundreds of videos on fret leveling on YouTube. Probably now several hundred and one coming up. Just going through the process because it's just part of the sort of series of refurbishing this Squire. So a new tool to add to my collection. This is a fret leveling bar. bit disappointing where the sandpaper was put on. There's actually join there in the sandpaper. It's like, you know, race to it there, so not an ideal situation for trying to level frets. That side's not too bad, and the face isn't too bad, so I'll probably just avoid using that one for now. Just use that side. So basically, if you've not seen this done before, it's just a case of finding out which frets may be too high. We'll just have a little look first with this fret rocker, just to see. Yeah, we do have some rocking going on. I don't know if you can hear that above the. Yeah, it's rocking most places, to tell you the truth. Bridge 3. You don't need to bridge at least 3 frets when you're doing this, just to obviously give you a gauge on whether anything's rocking anywhere. And yeah, there does seem to be quite a lot going on there, all the way up the fretboard. So I think it probably will benefit from trying to level the whole thing. So basically the process is take a marker, a Sharpie or whatever kind of marker that you've got to hand, and just mark down the frets with the marker. Trying not to touch the fretboard. Got those marked up with the marker. So basically what's going to happen when we go over with the fret leveler, if you've not seen this done before, I'm not going to put any pressure on. I don't want to sort of rub the frets away at all. All I want to do is see where there's any high sections and any low sections. So where the permanent marker stays on the fret is going to suggest where the frets are low, and where it comes off the frets, it's going to suggest where the frets are high. So at first we'll just have a look and see what the situation is regarding that before we go on and do any sort of leveling as such. So basically it's just a case of nice and lightly going over the frets, no pressure at all. Probably not an ideal size fret leveling tool, but something a little bit longer, covering more of the frets, probably would have been an advantage. So again, no, I'm not putting any pressure on there. I'm just basically rubbing over the top, just to see what's happening. So I'll just bring the camera down, and hopefully You can see what's happening where some of the markers come off here, and that's suggesting where the frets are a little bit high, and where the markers stayed on, it's suggesting the frets are low. So yeah, we're sort of high on that one and high on that one, but those two are low in comparison with those two. So it's a little bit more consistent, a bit further up the fretboard, slightly low just down here. So we've got some inconsistencies all over really. So what I'm going to do is we'll level all the frets using the leveler, and then probably go over it again with marker, and then just check everything again before doing any kind of sort of polishing and what have you. Right, so I'll just start at the top, and just a little bit more pressure this time, just to try and take the frets down a little bit where they need to go down. I'm trying to try and follow the radius of the fretboard as I'm sanding. Don't really want to make the frets flat as such, but need to try and keep the radius equal with the radius of the neck really, by a couple of mil maybe, because obviously the fretboard is a different radius to the top of the frets. So basically I've got more pressure on at the moment, so I'm just trying to make these even and make sure all the marker comes off. There's a little bit of an area there where the fret is still low, so I'm just going to need to spend a little bit more time on that little section. Basically taking off the other frets to get them to the same level as the one that's low. Okay, so that's looking a bit better now. Marker's coming off that, it's not quite there, but I'm going to carry on working down the rest of the fretboard now. This grade sandpaper on here is very fine, so it's going to take a little bit of time just to take these down. Didn't want to use that side, like I said, because there's a little overlap there on the paper. Would have been better off with just a single strip all the way down, and the other side's a bit flatter, so it's going to take a little bit longer just to get to where we need to be with the grain of the sandpaper being finer. You can probably see this little section there, which is pretty dark now, and there's a little bit there and on that one, so it is suggesting that those two frets are quite a bit lower than the ones surrounding it. So I do need to carry on just working this area to try and get those down. I've not actually played anything on this since I purchased it, so just how the frets would have held up to being played. I'm not sure, but I'm sure this is going to definitely benefit. There was quite a lot of sort of marks in the frets, so when you bent the string, you were getting a little twang. So it's getting there. It's still just a little bit there, and still those two, which are quite being a bit stubborn. So I should imagine these other ones are all pretty high compared with those two. So I think I will just turn the paper over, at the risk of that just being uneven there, and try not to probably put that on that side. I may be able to not use that little area, but take the others down a little bit quicker. Yeah, these are taking quite a bit of work. I think it is getting there slowly. I could take the fret file and go over one or two of these other ones which were possibly high compared with those, but I sort of don't have the time to do this, so I'll just plough on nice and steady and doing this. Okay, so that's probably very minimal now. The patience is paid off with that, so there's just a very slight little bit there, which I'll try and get. Probably roughly where the between the A and the D string, that little bit, so there'll probably be not much bending going on up there anyway. So again, I'm just trying to sand and keep the sort of radius going of the frets. So at this stage, just give it a little bit of a clean off. I'm reasonably happy with the frets being level up to this point, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over again with the marker. Use the same process again, but very lightly again with the fret leveling bar, and then hopefully it should bring everything off in quite a uniform manner this time. When I say bring everything off, I mean bring the marker pen off and not leave any black areas as low spots. Okay, just give that a second just to marker to dry. Right, so I'll go back on with the really fine side, and just recheck this. And just no pressure this time. I'm not leveling again. All I'm wanting to do is just see when this marker comes off, if I'm leaving any low spots or high spots. Ideal scenario, it's a little bit better that way. Absolutely no pressure, it's just basically the weight of the bar itself, and that's not particularly heavy. So a careful look, and everything looks decent again down to those two, which still seem a little bit low. So I'm going to have to work on this little area some more, I think. And then what I might do is just put the permanent marker back round this area. It's basically the 10th and 11th fret. So I'm still going to work on this then and take some more off of the frets around it. Even though I've gone over with the fret leveler, it's only sort of a light sanding as such. So what I'm going to do is work my way up now from this bottom end, and wherever I get a little bit of rock, I'm just going to take the fret file and just take it out. It's probably just only going to be on little parts of frets rather than the whole the way across. So yeah, this particular one's just rocking just a little bit on this end. In fact, that's not too bad now. So then I'll move up to the next three and see if we've got any on that. That seems fine. And we move up again. And seem to have a little bit on that one. That one's quite bad there actually. Yeah, just on that, I don't know if you can see that, it's rocking quite badly there. Not too bad on the end, so I should imagine the fret here, just on the centre, is pretty high, just round about there. So I'll just use the fret file to take off. Again, trying to keep the radius as I'm doing this. I'm not filing flat. Yeah, that's made that a lot better. So I finished the levelling off camera, and I've just been up and crammed the frets, basically just covering them up with a guard and using one of these abrasive blocks just to take the any squareness off where the fret levelling's occurred. It's just a case of going up each fret just on a bit of an angle, bending the block slightly just to achieve a bit of a curve on that edge, on the edge of the frets. So I've done that. I'm reasonably happy with the fret edges. I'm not really going to do much with them at all. So because I've been over with the fret file, some of these frets are now sort of quite rough. So what I'm going to do is just run over again with some 600, just using the sanding block, smooth those off, and then I'll have a final pass with some wire wool. And then check over each one, make sure there's no little nicks or anything that's going to catch the string when the strings are being bent on the fretboard. Okay, so that doesn't feel too bad. Just run that over the fret ends just to basically clean them up as much as anything. I don't think they need anything much doing with them apart from just to clean up, make them shine a little bit, and then finally some steel wool. We'll just mask up the pickups because obviously they're magnetic and they're going to attract the metal filings. Okay. So again, I think just using this to protect the frets, and then just a nice rub over with some steel wool just to polish those up. Yeah, that brings them nice and smooth. I did a quick setup on this before I started stripping it down. There was a couple of issues with it. These springs in the connected to the bridge saddles were actually on the back edge of this neck plate. It is possible that in order to get the intonation I may have to put them back to where they were. I'm hoping not, but it might be the case. It has had a fret level since I last set this up, so I'm expecting a lot of things to be different. I want to set the bridge so that when I'm using the tremolo arm I can bend it back as well as forwards, so I need to set that as well. First thing I'm going to do is just check the straightness of the neck, because there's no point in doing a lot of things unless we've got a straight neck to start with. Now it shouldn't be too bad, because I did straighten it prior to setting it up, prior to putting the neck back on the body, so there is a little bit of relief in that at the moment, which you would expect once it's strung up.